The Virtual Boys have been playing Nintendo since they were little. These many years of experience have made them experts in the field, or at least they think so. Join them this week as they talk about a whole lot of Nintendo news. You're listening to the Virtual Boys Podcast, a Nintendo podcast about Nintendo things by Nintensity. This podcast is done by four friends that talk about anything and everything Nintendo. Check out the website at nintensity.com and be sure to follow us on social media. Be sure to subscribe and share the show with your friends. Oh, of course, enjoy the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Virtual Boys Podcast, a Nintendo podcast about Nintendo things. This is episode 86. I'm your host, David. Banana, accompanied with Jordan.
I tip my hat to you, but neither of us want to see that.
And James.
Welcome to Mario Kart Tour.
And Skylar.
Who's the number one now?
Mario
I
is.
am. Just kidding, Mario is.
Super Mario Odyssey. Anyway, let's keep going.
So, we've got a fun episode planned today, I guess. We've got a large quantity of news, not necessarily a ton of quality within that news. You know, no new direct or anything, but just a couple of things that were revealed or talked about in the last week that we haven't talked about yet. So we're going to talk about that. But first, I just want to remind you, before we get started, to check out our Patreon page. These episodes are going up early as a reward for those that support us. Head to patreon.com/Nintensity. And if you want to talk about this episode with us, come to our Discord community at nintendo.city/Discord. All right, let's jump right in because Mario's a number one. Let's do our Nintendo news catch-up for February. See, recording on Tuesdays has made it interesting for us with the news because for some reason Nintendo likes to throw it at us on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So we miss it and we have to talk about it almost a week later. But
that's true.
Yeah, so let's do one of the first things on our list, which is the Switch Online is finally going to launch in September 2018. Finally being not necessarily the right word for everybody.
I'm just glad it didn't come out at the beginning of 2018.
Yeah, you've got at least 9 months.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they say like early 2018 at one point? Or
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
Well, at one point they said summer of 2017, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Like I think that was like the first. Their
They
first
just keep delaying
date.
it, and I'd be perfectly fine if Nintendo just keeps kicking the can.
Like, we're making enough money as it is. We don't need to. we don't need to do this.
It makes me wonder why they kept pushing it. But obviously they're getting it ready. But maybe they felt like there wasn't a game ready for it. Because maybe they saw Splatoon and say, "Oh, this will be the game," but then they're like, "No, we're not ready."
Seeing how we don't have Netflix, YouTube, or basic online functionality yet, or Virtual Console, I am just convinced that Nintendo has monkeys coding all of like the Switch interface stuff. So that's why.
You know, I kind of a tangent, but recently I remember reading somewhere that Miyamoto said that Nintendo likes to hire people who aren't professionals in the gaming industry or maybe even programming industry. So it makes me wonder: do they just hire people who have these creative minds, or you know, I don't even know.
I guess it would make sense for Miyamoto to hire that way because that's where he came from.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
he was not a programmer. Yeah, I think he was an artist.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and maybe that's just what he looks for in staff. And maybe they probably do have like, you know, dedicated programmers.
I know. I think
they have to.
What's the name of the guy who does most of the Zeldas? Onuma?
Onuma.
Yeah. Didn't he start off as like a doll crafter or something? He made dolls.
That's news to me.
Before he did Zelda? I'm pretty sure I saw that in an Iwata Asks at one point.
That's, you see, going along with that, you have, for example, Mother. You know, that whole series was made by I think he was like a editor, some sort of television personality guy, and then he just said, you know what, I want to make a video game, and he ended up making a pitch to Nintendo, and they took it with him. And that's the same with Pokemon. I think Masuda and his guys didn't really know much about making video game, and then it just one thing led to another, and that's why Iwata was so great, because he was the only one who knew how to program.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I mean,
sorry.
We talked about that in our Pokemon episode last week, where Iwata basically saved gold and silver by compressing it enough.
I mean, he saved that. He saved Mother and Mother 2, I think. But anyway, it's just interesting how Nintendo hires, but in the end, it works out. So hopefully they decide to hire someone who knows how to work with online and not just
at
creative
least
people.
One person. I hope they have a whole staff for that.
I kind of went on a tangent there. Sorry about that, but I'm trying to get to a certain point.
I mean, and if we head back to like the whole idea of the Switch not getting a significant update, it's still interesting to me that Nintendo hasn't figured out a way for the Switch home screen to handle more than 10 titles at a time, easily anyway, especially when you have them all installed. Like, one of my least favorite things to do when I'm looking for one of the games that I haven't touched in a long time is to scroll all the way to the end and then tap that icon that brings up the large grid. I think that the system needs some sort of display update so that, it can handle more than just 10 games. I have quite a few, and I know quite a few other people have more than that number, so...
I'm around 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, even Jordan has 20.
Skylar's like, well.
Skylar's got a few.
I'm not gonna say.
No.
Mostly because I don't know.
Yeah. No.
My Switch is in the other room. I have a lot of icons. I'll just say that. I can't count them. But yeah. Played a lot of stuff this past year, which is probably the most games I've ever had on a console in a 1 year span.
Oh, definitely for me.
Well, the Switch already has more games than the Wii had at this point in its life. Like, total number of titles available on the system.
The Wii or the Wii U?
Yeah. Well, I believe that largely because it's easier to put out games now than it was back when the Wii came out. Because when the Wii came out, it didn't. I don't think it launched with WiiWare. So you had to. Every game had to be a physical release or a virtual console game.
Yeah, it now has 3 times the number of games that the Wii U had at this point in its life cycle, but it also has more than twice the amount that we had at this point. I'm looking at the graph right here, so...
Yeah,
so it had 3 times the amount of the Wii U.
Though, definitely helps
crazy.
It against the Wii. The Wii U was just a miserable selling system.
I mean, the Wii U started off strong with like almost or above 30 within the first few days of launch, but after that it really stagnated. Nobody released anything on it, so...
I was just going to say, at least that had... an online that we knew wouldn't be paid. But with Switch, we're gonna have to pay money for this. My biggest worry, and obviously paying money is a pain in the butt, but my biggest worry is that we're not gonna have anything to play with it. It's like, why am I gonna put out money for this? Besides, yes, I'll get some of those classic games, I guess. But if I don't have a good game to play with a good server, then what's the point? Like, there isn't.
And I mean, if you're not playing a game like Splatoon 2 all the time, there's no reason. Like, Splatoon 2 is going to be, like, the big Nintendo-only game that's heavy on online play, because it already is.
Yeah, my Splatoon 2 is probably going to become pretty useless once we have to start paying for online. I don't think I'm going to get it.
Yeah. Even with Smash Brothers, I don't really play online.
Never.
But there is a lot of people who do. So, I don't know. I wonder if there's... I'm just throwing this out there. I wonder if they're saying we're anticipating Smash to release sometime around September or maybe afterwards, in ahead of this online release. But I don't know. Like, it just boggles my mind, or it doesn't make sense to me that you would release this online without a big game.
That's coming out in September. We still don't know all the details behind it, just that it gives you access to online play and there's some sort of subscription service for games. But we'll know more, I guess, as we get closer to September. We'd probably know more if Nintendo decided to do an actual Nintendo Direct,
Day 37, still no real Direct.
What are you talking about? We had Labo. What are you talking about?
That's
that
not
was
even
a
the
video
longest.
presentation.
on.
It was like a 4-minute video.
That's totally direct. Totally counts.
Well, at least we got...
37 days is not the longest we've been without a direct. Though.
Well, 37 days since the start of the year. When was the last Direct? Before Mario Odyssey?
I think it was right before Xenoblade.
Right
They did
before
a port.
Xenoblade. So at
They did a
least
port.
60-ish days.
They did a port direct. They did a direct mini or whatever they call
Oh,
it.
yeah, I said real Direct.
It's still a real direct. We got some dates. We got some new stuff.
I agree with Skylar. I'd say it's a direct. Mind you, it's direct mini, but
It's what they called it.
The last full direct was November 7th. So, long time.
it'd be nice to have another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since we don't know much about what Nintendo's even doing this year. But,
So 3 months ago.
yeah.
Jeez.
But at least without that, we have at least one new announcement of a game, and that's Mario Kart Tour. This game was announced in the middle, I guess, of Nintendo's shareholder report meetings. I don't know what they actually call those. I forget. But they came out on Twitter and were like, hey, check it out. A new Mario Kart game is coming to your smartphones sometime before the end of the 2018 fiscal year, which could be any time between now and next March.
Yep.
So,
I don't
We
know.
just started programming this today.
The Zelda app's not working out, so we're gonna work on Mario Kart now. No,
Oh
they
yeah,
never.
weren't they supposed to come out with a Zelda one or something?
Well, according to was it Wall Street Journal? I think they had
so it was just rumored.
yeah, they had an insider report on that. Although I trust them and their sources more than some of the Twitter people, but you know it is what it is. I mean,
yeah.
but I'll have to say, like, I can't say it wasn't expected, the Mario Kart app, but at the same time, I was a little bit like, oh, okay, here it is. I mean, that makes
Here it
sense. But I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about it?
It'll probably be one of those ones where you tilt it left and right to control.
It'll use the accelerometer of the phone.
Yeah, I've played games like that before. The Sonic Sega All Stars racing game does that,
Oh yeah,
along with a few others as well. So it probably will happen like that.
yeah, you're probably right. Can I say I'd be a little disappointed if that was the case? I mean, yeah, that's cool, but I kind of want Nintendo to try something different with Mario Kart and see what they can get. Although if it's like just like a gambling, you big coins on a cart to see which one wins, like that'd be terrible.
That's exactly what it's gonna be.
James,
Like,
you just described the perfect mobile game for Nintendo, you know? People
No,
are
like
already
20
buying all those boxes or whatever for Fire Emblem, and I can bet real money
all
on
right,
carts.
all right. So item boxes are now loot boxes.
No. I
If you want to get up on
I thought about
somebody,
that
you want to
too.
get that blue shell.
Yeah, it'll cost you for that blue shell.
well,
Mythic rare item drop.
well, they probably have some sort of in-game currency, and then when you run out of that in-game currency, that's when you start reaching into your actual wallet.
Oh man.
that's terrible.
Oh, but the thing
I'll
is,
probably
go ahead. Sorry.
I'll probably play this game as much as I play like real Mario Kart.
10 minutes.
Never.
Max.
Never.
They actually do have arcade games in Japan where they're horse racing, and I think you do actually bet on a horse, but it's virtual. There's not even an anime story tied behind it. It's just, I think you're just betting.
What? No anime tie to this
Well,
thing?
you think I'm kidding. But if you play pachinko, which is, you just like drop a slot in, like that, apparently pachinko games have like a plot and story to them. In order for you to continue, you have to get the high enough score or whatever. And some people will just spend hours upon hours just trying to figure out what happened to Mako-san or whatever.
Oh man! All right, when I go to Japan, I need to try this now.
I had a good friend who's like, don't waste your time. It's not even that interesting. I was like, I've seen better.
I'll look
See
up
better
online for
pachinko
the best pachinko machine with the best story and try and get through it. We'll see how it goes.
You should do that.
I'm playing it for the story.
I'm watching for the story, guys. Clearly.
At least that's what I understand. Anyway,
I wonder if they have ROMs or whatever for like emulated pachinko machines, so people can actually play through the stories.
did I? I wouldn't be
while
surprised.
I start Googling. Just kidding. I'm not gonna look it up.
This time you can actually like Bitcoin. You put Bitcoin in instead of actual money.
Hey, it's at a nice low right now. You might as well get going. But Mario Kart Tour looks interesting. When we were talked about the horse racing part, it made me think of that horse jockey game that came out on 3DS. Was it like 2 years ago?
I actually think. Well, I'm not sure how the dual screen works, but that actually kind of be an interesting app. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
But I don't know. That'd be fun. We of course know absolutely next to nothing about this game, other than its title and when it's going to release, and that it might have multiplayer. So
yeah, who knows?
Maybe we'll learn about it at E3. That's Nintendo's big E3.
Nintendo's only game at E3 this year is
Mario
Kart Tour.
All right, we know how we're going to sell 20 million Switch units. Mario Kart Tour on iPhone.
Man, this Mario Kart game sucks.
I'm
gonna play a real Mario Kart game on my Switch.
I've already lost $25 and I can't seem to win.
Hey, bub, just spend $60 on Mario Kart Deluxe, then you'll always be winning. Maybe.
I bet all this money on a character that's actually just a head, not a hat.
One more thought I had on this. Sorry, do you think that this in any way would tie to the theme park Mario Kart ride?
No.
Okay.
It's the VR portion of the ride. You get in just these cars, strap your phone to your face, and you're playing the game.
Yeah, you drive a real car with a phone strapped to your face. Don't text and drive.
That's not dangerous at all, kids.
I mean, I can't. I have no idea how it would tie in, but I know they're at least with My Nintendo, they wanted to have some sort of interaction with the theme park. So I was just throwing that out there.
No, I understand how it's going to work now. Your score in the game determines what place you are in the line to get on the ride. Oh. So if you get first place enough, you'll get a fast pass automatically to the beginning of the line. But you get hit by all those blue shells and end up in last place, sorry, you're never going to get to ride the ride. That's how it works. Done.
It'll be perfect.
I think they'll just have bumper cars. Call it Mario Kart.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
You'll throw bananas at each other and hit each other with shells. It'll be great.
Yeah, until someone gets hurt, and then they'll take that away.
And it'll just be bumper cars with Mario Karts.
It's battle mode. Only battle mode.
All right, so you have to put on this balloon. Now your goal is to pop everyone else's balloon.
My eye!
Here's these sharp needles. Have fun, kids.
I can't feel my arm.
You have to pick up these giant foam Koopa shells and throw them at each other's balloons.
What a terrible idea.
Well, that's Mario Kart Tour. The next thing that we got on our list is Nintendo came out and said that they're partnering with Illumination Animation or Illumination Entertainment Studios. I forget what their official name is. But they're partnering with them to make a Super Mario movie, which is interesting. Now, before all you naysayers start saying, "Oh, I hate this. Why didn't they go with DreamWorks?"
I hate this. Why didn't they go with DreamWorks?
Oh, James, I told you not to. But
don't worry, I'm saying it in my mind too.
But Illumination is owned by Universal, and Nintendo's working with Universal for the theme park.
Exactly.
And so I'm sure this was some part of the deal. At least some of the relationship led to them making this deal because they've already got it.
So now
there.
we know why they made this really horrible situation, or decision. But
I mean,
I don't think that's a good enough excuse. Illumination is garbage.
I don't think that all of the stuff that they've done is the worst. I mean, they're still
from an entertainment perspective,
it
but from an animation perspective, it's always the worst.
Yeah,
I don't think they've ever pushed out a good looking film ever.
Yeah, I can't really think of one. They're pretty funny though. I mean, the first Despicable Me was all right.
Well, so now we have to ask: will the Toads become the new Minions? Basically,
Toads will stop speaking English and they'll just be making sounds all the time. That's how it's gonna work.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. They may become the new product, seller thing,
And then we'll get rabbits plus
merchandise.
toads in a future game.
And that would be annoying.
Yeah. Now, see, I do have to say that Miyamoto is going to be working on the film, more or less. He's not writing or directing it, but he's one of the main producers and is overseeing a lot of it, which kind of makes me a little more comfortable, but also worried at the same time, because as we all know, Miyamoto is not good at storytelling in his games. He's good at making fun games, but...
What do you mean? Sticker Star was the best Paper Mario game.
I just threw up a little. Sorry.
It really hurt to say that, even as a joke.
It's like I could feel the pain,
I
just
could
a
see the
dagger
cringe.
piercing your your heart as you're just spouting this nonsense.
But-
It's so wrong.
Do we even have a release window for the Mario movie?
I don't think so.
No, I don't
The
think
future.
I search for Mario movie release date. It comes up with the
1993.
93 movie.
Either way, I think it's probably gonna be, after the Sonic movie and after the Detective Pikachu movie. So, which
I'm way more interested in the Detective Pikachu film than this.
yeah, I mean, I actually think that could be a good movie. No, okay. To be fair, this could end up being a good movie as well. It depends on the writers and stuff like that. But
I think it'll be really mediocre and safe with everything.
Yeah, I
don't think they're going
can
to
see
do
that.
anything really interesting. I don't think it will look very good from an animation standpoint. Yeah, it's just going to be a really safe, boring corporate film.
I would love to see a movie based on Super Paper Mario. That's what I would want. I just have to put that out there. I love the story in Super Paper Mario, and I think it would make a really fun movie. But I do agree with Jordan. They're going to play this really safe.
So will Mario talk?
I don't know. Charles Martinet replied to the official Twitter announcement of it saying, "Wahoo, I can't wait," or something like that.
Well, he'll
Who's
say
gonna
wahoo
tell him?
and stuff, but
who's gonna tell him, guys?
You're not
Charles,
voicing Mario.
you can't do it. What? Look, I'm sure I know he's a very talented man. But can you imagine him just speaking the whole time?
If you've seen his was it Twitter or whatever?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, his Vine videos. that
His
he did
Vine
with the Mario.
videos, he does do it quite a lot.
Yeah,
So-
but it's not the best.
Nah, but hey, you saw. I mean, okay, if you played Skyrim and you've heard the dragon on top, he's pretty
This
good.
is true. This is true. You're
He's
right.
pretty good when he gets into the zone.
I don't doubt his ability to maybe
wait, that
do
was
other
Charles
voices.
Martinet, the dragon in
Yeah,
Skyrim?
he's the dragon on top. Dude, you can look it up. His name's all over it. It's crazy. And there's YouTube comparisons and everything. He's Parthenax, the dragon on top of the mountain. He's Parthenax.
Oh man.
Straight up fact.
So I don't like, and I've heard that before, and I bet he sounds great, and I don't doubt the fact that he could do a speaking role. However, the voice he has for Mario is just used for these more like noises and not really talking. I don't know. That's my opinion. Although I do love his Wario and Waluigi. Like, I could probably listen to those all day. Like, music to my ears. But
Wah.
I don't know. Let's just say I'm a little skeptical when it comes to that. I don't think they'll go with anybody else, but just saying.
Yeah, if you're just gonna have someone else play Mario, then they're gonna be doing the same thing.
I mean, that'd be a disservice to him. I'm just worried how it's gonna sound. Anyway, sorry. Don't mean to be a Debbie Downer.
A lot of people aren't really excited about it, so anyway.
We haven't seen anything yet.
I know, so
There's nothing to get hyped for.
I don't think that we should, be cast in stones right now until we actually see what starts happening and
You're right.
are able to make a decision then. Instead of, Illumination's going to make it's going to be garbage. It's not going to look the best. It's not. But it might be funny. It might be just a fun movie to watch. So,
At least it's animated and not live action this time. So.
And hopefully not going to take a dark, gritty approach to Mario where the Mushroom Kingdom's a fantasy instead of, like, where Mario actually lives.
It'll be in Brooklyn. It'll be the story of him, like, training Doc Lewis or whatever to train Mac later on in the future.
And Mario's just reffing all of their matches.
Yeah.
Great.
It's actually a Little Mac movie. You just didn't... They didn't want to say it.
But what if?
They
Set in the Mario universe.
they asked Stallone to get the rights for the original Rocky movies, and they just remake Rocky, but with Doc Lewis instead of Mick, and Little Mac instead of Rocky.
Hey, Peach.
And then
Princess
Mario
Peach.
will be there directing directing the match as the judge. It'll be great.
Bowser, you're going down.
I'd go see that.
Print it. It's done. We're good. We got this.
I'd watch it
Where's
10
your
times.
In theaters.
Where's your hat? It's a crown, Mark.
Adrian.
So,
But he
And Max stole Mario's girlfriend, Pauline.
that's where she went.
That's where
my
she went. She went
goodness.
with Mac. That's what happened.
This lore is so deep. But here's one thought I had. New Donk City, is that touchable? Do you think they go there?
And so have it be the story between him versus Donkey Kong?
Maybe that, or
Ooh.
that's just where he comes from. Then he arrives in the Mushroom Kingdom and stuff like that. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's just going to be the most basic Mario story
That's
you've
true.
ever seen.
No, you're
just so
right.
they can reach out to the largest audience possible. Like, this is Mario, this is Peach, this is the Mushroom Kingdom. Whoops, she got kidnapped. Here's Bowser.
Bowser is 6 times larger than he is in the games. Just to add some
I sure
drama.
hope not. He's pretty big in Galaxy.
Yeah. Never got my galaxy-sized cake, man.
He's also huge in Sunshine. Like, they can make Bowser whatever size they want.
There's no canon size for Bowser.
Well, you have a land that produces mushrooms that change your size at will. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. So.
Bowser, you're looking a little bloated today.
I had one too many.
Someone messed with my height, width, and depth vectors.
Somebody hacked the game again, started modding. I don't know. Game Shark was involved.
So,
Yeah.
well, anyway, Mario, the Mario movie made by Illumination will come out eventually. We don't know when, we don't know how, but it's coming. Just watch out.
How do we stop it?
I don't
Go
think
to
we can at this point.
change.org today. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Sign our petition.
It does nothing.
You'll never see it coming, George.
All right, moving on to our next bit of news. We got some more sales figures from Nintendo at their investor meeting.
Yes.
The Switch officially beat the Wii U in sales, and it was 9 months. They gave the figures up until the end of December, right? Or did they include January? I don't remember. But anyway, the Switch has annihilated the Wii U already.
Yeah, the numbers end on the 31st. So we also don't know what January has added to those numbers.
Yeah.
Probably not a lot. January's notoriously bad for sales for everything generally.
Yeah, right after Christmas, people don't have much spending money. Yeah. So, congratulations, Switch. You're doing great, even though Forbes magazine came out with an article today saying that you're already obsolete, but we know you're not. We love you. You're great. I know the Switch isn't sentient, but might as well put that out there.
It's pretty crazy that I was able to beat. I mean, yeah, the Wii U was a failure, but 5 years worth of lifetime in just 9 months.
Yeah.
It is on track to be the fastest selling console at this moment.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it might beat PS2 then, huh?
Oh, it's way ahead of PS2 on for the month by month. Yeah, it is in number one. Like, I believe number one is Switch, then Wii, then PS4, then PS2.
Up to this point.
Up to this point. The PS2 took off later on once it became like a really cheap DVD player and DVDs started taking off.
Yeah. So as soon as the Switch gets the ability to play Blu-rays and 4K movies,
Once it gets Netflix, and Crunchyroll and other streaming services.
All it's got is Hulu.
All it has is Hulu right now.
And I love the Hulu app. I use it quite a bit.
Well, so if Nintendo's claims are correct, like their projections, they project to sell 16 million by the beginning of March this year, which is only like 2 million more than what we were at the end of December, which is pretty believable.
Yeah.
And then they expect to get 20 million in the next fiscal year. So by the end of its second year lifespan, that'll put it at around 36 million, which will be just a shy above what the Wii was at the end of the 2 years. So Nintendo's expecting it to be pretty big.
Well, I think that's a good goal for them to set. Obviously, you do have to have some sort of game that pushes those sales, but if you can keep like a slightly better slightly better pace than the Wii, then I think that's
well.
A good,
also, the pacing comparisons are also kind of skewed because it came out in March, whereas PS4, PS2, and Wii came out in the holiday season. So, in the 10-month period at this point, the Wii, PS4, and PS2 are considered in their slower months at the moment, right after their first holiday season, whereas the Switch just barely hit its first holiday season. And so, in a few more months, it'll be basically when the PS4, Wii, and PS2 hit their second holiday season. So they're going to jump ahead of the Switch pretty quick here. But by next holiday season, the Switch allegedly will hit above that.
Okay.
But again, this all hinges on what Nintendo decides to release this year. Like, I mean, I guess for a lot of people. They had lots of games that will attract new people this year as well. But we still don't know what their big focus is for the year. We don't know any of the big titles yet.
We don't know what the E3 focus is going to be.
I don't think they have that much, to be honest. And I was saying this pretty much all of last year. Like, I don't think Nintendo has a ton to bring this year. I think they're breaking their backs over trying to get Pokemon done this year just so they have something.
Yeah. I could see them releasing Pokemon this year. It will definitely sell a ton.
Yeah.
Pokemon always does. Especially since it's coming to Switch now, so... I don't know. But moving on to more with the numbers, they also released some of their software sales numbers. Odyssey is the number one 3D Mario game sold.
Which is phenomenal because I think this is the first time a 3D Mario game has beaten the Mario Kart game on the same system.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
This is the number one game on the console right now too, selling wise.
I mean, it makes sense for such an incredible game. But what boggles my mind is that it's a 3D Mario game that's selling this well. 3D Mario games have always been great, but they just haven't sold as well as, say, like a 2D Mario. I think it's
still below the Galaxy games in terms of sales.
Yeah, but wait, so like you're talking about pace or total?
Total.
Well, I mean, this is only like 2 months, isn't it?
That's true.
And I mean, that's pretty crazy for 2 months.
Yeah.
Or maybe not even 2. Is it like a month and a half or something?
No,
wait. It came out in October. Never mind. So yeah. Oh no.
October. October.
It came out in October, so 2 months.
It's just under 4 million below Mario Galaxy.
Dang.
Because Mario Galaxy sold about 12.76 million.
Mm-hmm. Then Mario 64 with 11.9. Excuse me. Mario 3D Land with 11.4. Super Mario 64 DS with 11.06, and then Odyssey with 9 million.
If it keeps this pace up, I mean, and the Switch does end up selling 20 million more units or whatever, I mean, I think it'd easily become the highest selling Odyssey game.
Yeah.
Or Mario game.
Well, it already beat Mario Galaxy 2, and I'm of the opinion that Galaxy 2 was a better game than Galaxy 1.
I kind of waffle back and forth. I like the campaign more of Galaxy 1, but I think the level design's better in Galaxy 2. I'm not a huge fan of the map system in Galaxy 2.
I always just lump them together. To me, they're both fantastic. So
they're the same game.
To me, they kind of are. They same engine and everything, but the way more developed ideas in Galaxy 2. But you couldn't really get there without Galaxy 1. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to toss back and forth on the two. I love them both. They're both fantastic games.
maybe we'll have an Odyssey 2, so we can have the same sort of debacle.
It's like, is Odyssey 2 better than 1?
Who cares? I'm going to play them both.
Who cares? I'm running both right now.
Play both at the same time.
Whoa. Mind blown.
So, along with Odyssey, Breath of the Wild is now the second best-selling Zelda game behind Twilight Princess, which is interesting because Twilight Princess is the other game that released on 2 consoles simultaneously.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not counting HD.
And Twilight Princess came out on the Wii, and that's the big reason why Galaxy and Twilight Princess were the best-selling games of their series, was because they were pretty much launch titles for the Wii and lasted the entire lifespan of the Wii.
Yep.
And so it's pretty phenomenal that in just 1 year, or in the case of Odyssey, 2 months, that Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey were able to almost catch up. Well, Odyssey still has quite a ways to go to catch up to Galaxy, but
Yeah.
That was 3 million, yeah.
But good
4
pace.
million.
It's a good
just
pace.
under 4 million.
Yeah, it's a good pace, and I think it'll catch up. Mario Odyssey is one of Nintendo's big hitters, but it's really cool that Breath of the Wild has sold so well. I mean, we all gave it perfect scores when we reviewed it.
Even in Japan, it's selling really well. You know, and Zelda games don't always sell the best there. I think the best selling Zelda game was Twilight Princess in Japan. If I remember right, could be wrong, but I don't know. Just this game appealed to them in a way that I guess the others couldn't.
Big fan of Zelda here. Other interesting things to note about software sales is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has sold over 1 million titles, copies, which is fantastic news.
When is that
for
that's
a JRPG?
Awesome. Like, that never happened. Like, but this is a huge step for Xenoblade. I mean, oh gosh, it's hard for me to even fathom what this will mean for this series, but it's good things.
Another interesting thing is Splatoon 2 beat the original Splatoon in sales already, which is cool.
No
Another
surprise.
interesting thing about Splatoon, and I thought this was funny, Splatoon 2 is the first game in the last 10 years, the first console game, to have sold more than 2 million copies in Japan.
Yeah, this is true.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Part of that's because console games just don't sell very well in Japan. And do you really count the Switch as a console versus a hybrid? I don't know. But it is still kind of... It's interesting.
Yeah. Just have to say that since Xenoblade Chronicles 2 passed 1 million, it's officially beaten the original Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii, which was under 1 million. So
Yep. It's the first.
How much of that was just
million.
Nintendo like not knowing what they were doing though with the original Xenoblade?
Well,
probably that.
Probably a lot of it, especially since they didn't release it in North America until way after it came out.
For $90.
You could only get it from GameStop or the Nintendo store.
Yeah, and GameStop, as soon as they got the copies, would unwrap it just so they could sell it as used, so they didn't have to go with MSRP numbers and sell it for $90.
Freaking
It was dumb.
GameStop.
I'm glad I pre-ordered it. Skylar made me pre-order it.
It's
It needed it.
It's so great to see a niche game like this do as well as it is, and in my mind, it really is such a great game, and so I'm glad a lot of people got to try it out. Whether or not they enjoyed it is up to them, I suppose, but at least a lot of people tried it, and they had the correct publicity with it.
A few more software things that I noticed this week and I guess last month. Most of the big Nindy titles of this year and last year, I'm talking mostly about Celeste and like SteamWorld Dig 2. Those games that released on multiple consoles saw the best turnout in sales on the Switch itself. Celeste has already sold more
That
copies
never
on
happens.
the Switch than anywhere else. Well,
Actually, that's
not
happening
mine.
quite a bit with the indie sales on the Switch.
I was being facetious. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, like the Switch is just a better platform to sell indie titles on for now. Will that last when there's a big, like, giant wave that's going to eventually hit us with indie games? I don't know. But for now, it's good for indies to put it onto the Switch.
Yeah, even with the problems of the eShop not catering to like sales and recommendations.
They
and
really
such.
need to revamp the eShop. I wonder if they're like losing out on at least a fourth of their sales because of how terrible the eShop is.
Yeah. So
another interesting thing that I noticed with the sales reports, in comparison to the Wii U, I think Nintendo was just reporting just the first-party titles, but it's already sold 50% as much software as the Wii U's entire lifespan.
Yeah.
With like a fraction of the library that the Wii U had throughout its library. Or throughout its lifespan. But that's insane. Especially since like you had stuff on the Wii U still like Smash Bros. And Splatoon and Mario Maker and Mario Kart. And the Switch is already rapidly catching up on the games front.
Yep. It's really impressive. The Switch is doing great. Well, we got to move on to the next bit of news. I guess this is just kind of fun. Yesterday, I think, Nintendo released a video with Yoshiaki Koizumi, the producer for Mario Odyssey. They talked about some little tidbits of information about the game, and one of the questions that was asked and then answered was, is Toad wearing a hat or not? Or is that thing his head? And he came out and said, no, it's his head. The gigantic mushroom part is his head.
And he was like, I'll let you think about what's inside, or he's something like that.
Skylar, you want to tell us why most of us thought that it was a hat, or
Most
a good
of us?
chunk of us?
Was I just a minority on this?
I thought it was a head.
The thing is, it's a hat because Toad takes his hat off several times in the TV show to like use it as a parachute.
That's just the
There's
That's
several-
not canon.
It's totally canon.
That
And then he
isn't
talks about it in games. Like, it's not the only place.
Yeah,
So
like
my
is-
biggest
in
thing
Mario
now,
Party, he says, "I tip my hat off to you," but neither of us want to see that. Toad's official character model in which game is it? I can't remember which one, but they programmed in an electrocuted Toad, and his skeleton like just shows what you would think he would look like without the mushroom head. So there's that. I mean, they're just
but then
like
why
these
do they
little
wear
details.
headgear on their hat when it should be their head? And then, why do they wear hats on top of their hats? Like, that makes no sense either. So,
It's been retconned.
well, then there you go. There's your answer. They
Well,
are
so
wearing, that's their
Watch
head.
the Illumination Mario movie. Have Toad take his head off.
Oh my gosh. Well, that solves that debacle.
I still don't agree with Koizumi.
Oh, fair enough.
It has to come from the mouth of Miyamoto.
Actually, I agree.
From the mouth of Miyamoto himself.
I mean, although this is the guy who said he was Bowser Jr.'s mom.
But he is Bowser Jr.'s mom. it came from his mouth, therefore it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we've got really for the Nintendo news catch up that we've done this week. Lots of fun little things to talk about. Let's now move on to what we've been playing this week. I'll just go ahead and say it. I've been playing lots and lots of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm on my second playthrough, so this is after, the 60 hours of my first playthrough. I've started a new file. I'm in the middle of chapter 6 or 5, or at the beginning of one of those chapters. I've logged 75 hours already because I am so good at grinding, and for some reason that's what I love to do when I finally understand how a JRPG works. Like I said last week, I've gotten the development of the cities up pretty high. Now every single city, except for the Praetorium, is at 5 stars. I've unlocked maybe a little over a third of the rare blades and have started some of the quests to get more of the rare blades that are quest only. And I am a master salvager and have almost 2 million gold after spending 1.5 million gold just to get one blade and her affinity unlocked. But yeah, I really like to grind sometimes in video games. Not actual grinding, please don't take it that way. But yeah.
No one thought that, David.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I love JRPGs. I love doing that stuff. It's fun. And I learn more about the story and catch little things like foreshadowing and stuff that I didn't pick up on my first time. So that's a lot of fun.
That is fun.
And that's pretty much it, other than watching, other people play video games like speedruns and stuff. That's really always fun. So that's me. Hooray.
Cool. Finished ukulele.
Wow.
What'd you think?
It 100% got every pagey.
Wow.
Got all the notes, or the feathered quills, blah. Sorry, it's just so much Banjo-Kazooie that I can't stop comparing the two. Anyway, it feels like a Banjo-Kazooie game. Sure, there may be like a couple less charming things, and a couple of the characters aren't as memorable, but it feels exactly like a Banjo-Kazooie game. Just going through how it controls, even the camera feels like Banjo-Kazooie. So I don't. And not to, I mean, they also did do a lot of updates to help fix the camera and a lot of game-breaking glitches that were there in the beginning. I only ran into a...
I was just going to say, I still need to play it.
I think you'd enjoy it, honestly. Yeah? I think you'd be like, oh, this isn't quite Banjo-Kazooie, but I think you'd enjoy the gameplay at least. It made me... I played Banjo-Kazooie pretty recently, within the past year. It controls pretty much the same. I do kind of feel gypped that there's only 5 worlds instead of like 8.
Yeah.
I
don't like how expansive they feel, or look at least.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of empty space.
The casino level sucks.
I knew it.
I think that's the consensus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really bad. So those blue coins in Super Mario Sunshine?
Yeah.
That's the whole stage. It's just blue coins.
Oh no!
You go around and you collect these little casino tokens, and then you take 10 at a time back to the cashier guy, and he'll give you a pagey for each 10. It's pretty terrible. It just reminded me of my blue coin run in Mario Sunshine and how much I hated it. When you start introducing crap like that people didn't like into a more modern game, it's kind of a problem. But other than that, the first world was great. I liked the last world a lot. I liked the which one was my favorite? Oh, the haunted level was my favorite. The haunted mansion level was pretty cool. They're pretty enjoyable. Still an enjoyable game. It comes with all of Banjo-Kazooie's flaws and its treasures, its gems. So
I wonder if
you.
Oh, sorry. I wonder if some of the flack for the game was more of the flaws of Banjo-Kazooie itself.
No, I don't believe it.
Well, see, George, there's only one way for you to find out.
All right.
That's
fair.
fair.
I'll have to play it.
You gotta try it out. But
it's gonna be hard to compare it since I already got 2 Banjo games this year with Hat in Time and Mario Odyssey.
Said Mario Odyssey's Banjo and Beyond. This feels like Banjo.
It's a modern Banjo. Mario Odyssey is a modern Banjo.
But, dude, they make so many jokes in Ukulele about how this is a modern game and like why do we still have to do this in a modern game and like it's very, very, very self-aware. The dialogue made me chuckle a few times, and I was not expecting that from this game, based on like all the flack it's gotten. Honestly, I've been thinking about like 7.5, probably, is what I'd rate it.
Okay.
Out of 10. Just playing it so far. I did run into a couple glitches. Overall, it's not the most unique game, especially coming from Banjo-Kazooie and other games that have a little bit more charm. But it's still pretty enjoyable. The final boss sucks. I'll just say that. It's really, really freaking hard. It did remind me a lot of the Grunty fight, but there are more phases in the Grunty fight, which is terrible.
The Grunty fight's amazing. What are you talking about?
They're cool.
Ginginator.
Ginginator is way better than what happens at the end of this game.
Right.
But yeah, it's got its funny moments. It has its references. It has its jokes. I kind of would like to see another game from Platonic. I think they can make it better. I think it'd be enjoyable.
I really hope so.
Yeah, I really hope they don't take all the negative feedback that a lot of people have been giving it to mean, oh, we should give up, we can't make a game, but instead decide to make a better game in the next few years.
Yeah, it feels like a bunch of developers who got back together after a long time and are super rusty at making games again, but they still made like a decent product or decent package. So I wouldn't mind seeing it again. I also finished Brawl Out. I got all of the stages now and everything, especially after I did that glitch that I mentioned last week. Got all the characters that way, but you still have to play the game to get the stages. So I played the game and got the stages.
Is that the game with the cave story character as one of the characters?
No. Brawlout's the like Super Smash Brothers S game, but they did add Juan from Guacamelee, and
I love that man.
They added the Wanderer in there as well from like some other indie game that I've never heard of.
Was it Drifter or something like that?
Something like that.
I can't remember.
I don't know the game. I did play Guacamelee, didn't play his game, so
Got it.
but yeah, so they have a couple characters from outside of Brawlout. It's pretty fun. Right now, not having a Smash Brothers game on the Nintendo Switch kind of fills that void. I had some friends over the other week, and we started playing some Brawlout, just on Switch. So it was a lot of fun. And then I picked up Crypt of the Necrodancer this week. It's really hard, but it's really fun, and the music is great. It's basically like a rhythm-based roguelike, where you go through the game each time, and you have to move to the beat and on the beat, and you collect all these things, and you attack monsters on the beat, and then each monster has their own patterns and movements as well. It's really cool, and the music is fantastic. The music's done by the same guy who did the Binding of Isaac soundtrack, the Super Meat Boy soundtrack, like a few others as well. Just really rocking stuff. You can search for the soundtrack on SoundCloud. It's all there. You just give it a listen. It's amazing. It's really head throbbing, beat pumping. Just like very. It's very how do you say it? Like, it just gets you moving, I guess. Makes sense because it's the Necro Dancer. You don't want to fall asleep. but really, really cool game. I've gotten through the first world so far, and I keep dying in the second out of like 5 worlds.
Oh, can't do it. No, not for me.
It's
Nope.
it's you have to spend a lot of time learning the patterns because it just drops you in. It's like, here, go now, go. Better keep the beat or you're dead. It's like
Looking at screenshots, I wouldn't even expect it's a rhythm game, to be honest.
Yeah, just by looking at it, you have to kind of see it in motion.
Ah.
Like, it's really cool when all the sound effects start lining up with the music. And, like, the problem with it is you have, like, no time to think in this roguelike, basically. You have, like, a beat to figure out what your next move is before something attacks you or something random happens. Like, I have a wall mimic kill me or something. Like, you just get a little too close to the wall, and sometimes they're monsters and they'll kill you. But you can usually tell just visually if they're wall mimics or not. I just usually not paying attention. But very, very fun game. I love the soundtrack. If you like roguelikes at all and you like rhythm games, this is perfect. Like, it fits the bill really well. And this Nintendo Switch version has a new DLC character exclusive to the Switch, as well as like a bunch of the updates that came with the game over many years of its development. So it's a blast to play.
So if I'm a huge fan of roguelikes, but I don't really care much about rhythm games, would this still be something for me?
I think your mileage may vary at that point. You still do have to keep the beat, but it's very obvious what beat you need to keep. All right. It's not too difficult to know. The music does a really good job of telling you, yes, this is the beat. Go to this beat.
So it's no Remix 10 in Rhythm Heaven Fever.
No, absolutely not. The beat's very straightforward. It's like quarter notes the whole time.
Excuse me, I meant to say Donk Donk, not Remix 10.
Oh, no, it's not Donk Donk. Donk Donk's terrible. Donk Donk is my bane. But,
Donk Donk, Donk Donk, Donk Donk, dip dip do.
It's all the triplets.
So bad. But yeah, not even half the time. Anyway.
No, but Necrodancer, it's really fun. I've really enjoyed it, especially liking rhythm games and trying my hand at new roguelikes. It's pretty good. So go check it out. Just look up the music if you just want to listen to the music, but it's fantastic.
So I beat Celeste. I beat it yesterday, I think, and it was. I really enjoyed myself. As someone who doesn't play a whole lot of platforming games, I really like the puzzle part of this, where you have to kind of figure out the right jumps to make. And in a lot of ways, it's a lot like Super Meat Boy. It's a different kind of aesthetic and I guess different mechanics, I guess you could say. But all in all, great game. I give it like a 9 out of 10. I think I give it a 9 out of 10. It's very well made, and it there's a lot of replayability behind it. It's actually a game that it makes you think, about sort of mental health issues and overcoming oneself while also accepting yourself, and it's actually really neat. It's not preachy or anything like that, but it's just kind of a charming story behind it. In the time that it took me to beat this game, though, there's other people who were like, "Yeah, I got everything. I got all the strawberries." I was like, "Wow, that's really cool. Good job." But what's great?
I've been meaning to pick this one up.
I highly recommend it. It's meant for all players. Yes, there can be frustrating moments, but you don't have to collect all the strawberries. You don't have to find these glass heart things. Unless you want to go finish the last level, or not the last level, like the post game level. So it's really how you want to play. If it's too hard, if there's something that's too hard for you, just skip it. You don't need to worry about it. You can come back to it later if you want to, if you just want to beat the game. I tried to make sure every strawberry I found, I tried to make sure I get it. That's just how I play. But the fact that you can die as many times as you like and there's no repercussions, it's great. Except for the counter at the end where you have like 1,000 deaths and you're like, I'm a terrible person. But it's still a lot of fun. Highly recommend. And then I've been continuing my Let's Play of Radiant Dawn. I'm still not very far. I think I'm like chapter 6 around there. So that's going as well as it could be. If any of you have been watching the Let's Play, I've already game overed, at least once. Freaking Edward, being
worst.
like, well, I put him out there just because, like, yeah, he can take at least these hits, and then the person who hits him is like, you know what, I'm gonna crit you at 1%. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, go ahead, that's fine. I can just redo the level. That's totally fine. So I did the same move, and sure enough, he didn't crit me again. So it's like, see, that's how it should have been. Whatever. But I'm really enjoying it, and I'm interested to see how Ike plays into the story, because so far, he's only rumored to be, and Micaiah thinks Soth has a thing for Ike. I don't know, like it. I mean, he does seem pretty head over heels.
She thinks that like Soth is like too infatuated with his heroism,
right,
essentially.
Yeah. There was a line that was just like, yeah, and Soth's gonna be the bearer of Ike's children, or something like that. I was like, oh dang, she's not happy with him. But
no, Micaiah really likes Soth.
Oh yeah, I know. At least that's what the vibe I'm getting as I'm playing. But yeah, I really enjoy it. And then I've just been fooling around in Zelda, grabbing the outfits and stuff like that, because I haven't grabbed them all yet. I guess I'm not the best at hide and seek or lost and found or I Spy. Maybe that's it. I'm really not that good at it. I'm starting to notice. But I'm doing the best I can. Stuck in Hyrule Castle trying to find those stupid uniform things. It's like, where are they? And then lastly, I just want to mention that I've been really playing Heroes again. I don't know why. I just decided to pick it up and just try to play through it. I wish I could say my luck has changed, but that's just not the case. Can't pull a 5-star to save my life.
I think they made it harder to pull a 5-star.
That may be.
I swear.
There was one month I didn't get any at all,
Mhm.
but then I started getting a lot more recently. I think it's just random. It just is what it is. I did develop a new strategy though for pulling in heroes, where I just get 20 and then do all of the color I want on the board now,
Okay.
instead of just doing 5 every time.
Yeah,
so
that's
when
what
I
I've
pull up
been
a board,
doing too.
yeah, it's helped a lot. I pulled Nephany today,
What?
so
Oh wow.
it was kind of ridiculous. I just logged on and then I got a whole wash of blue on the board. I was like, oh, now's the chance. Now's the time.
Goodness.
So yeah, that's just what I've been doing now, is doing 20 at a time and then just waiting until the color pops up. And then taking all of the color, get back up to 20, do the same thing.
I'm just so unlucky because I'm doing that too, and I get nothing.
Yeah,
I get nothing either. So I think it's just...
I think it's just I've been playing the game every day since.
I think that
launch, pretty
that
much,
could be
so-
it as well. I haven't been playing it every day, so. But I'm gonna
Yeah,
start trying.
but yeah, I'm up to like 58 5-stars now in the
Holy.
game, just after 1 year. So
I never pulled a single 5-star, but I don't play.
I pulled a 5-star Roy the other day too.
Oh.
I was like, but I was trying to go for
My
Ike
boy.
in the new
My
pack,
boy.
Oh.
and I also got Sanaki out of the same pack, and I didn't get Ike. And I'm like, come on, I want my Radiant Dawn Ike. Dang it! But never got him.
All right.
But yeah,
So cool. All right. So I've been gone for a bit, pretty busy with homework, but in the small amount of time I've been able to play video games, I've played a bit more Fury. I'm really far. According to my roommate, I'm at the second to last boss, and the game is sweet. I I really like it. It's not as hard as I thought it would be. Once you get like the patterns down, which generally I get on my second try if a boss is capable of killing me. But the hacker lady was really difficult. She took a few shots. If you've played Fury, you know what I'm talking about.
that's not the second one, is it? That's later.
The hacker lady? No, she's the 7th one, I believe. The way it's set up is that it's a giant room, and she has a sniper sniping gun that can one-shot you if it hits you. And so you have to play hide and seek while she's trying to snipe you. And so you hide behind cover, see where the bullet hits from, and then start running in that direction. Hide for cover again before she shoots again, because if she hits you, you just die.
Whoa.
And so then you eventually get to her, and then she has invisibility, and so she'll like go into cloak form and then start jumping out of nowhere to start attacking you, and you have to parry out of it. And then eventually she just goes into bullet hell mode, where she's just dropping all these bullets from all directions. And then periodically pieces of cover keep popping up, and you have to hide behind that cover before she snipes you while the bullet hell's going on.
Holy crap.
Jeez.
And the bullet hell pieces are able to go past the cover. Yeah, it's
Oh.
yeah, that boss was pretty rough.
Nope.
So yeah, I'm almost done with the game. She was hard. She was really hard. And then, other than that, I've been playing. My roommate got Twilight Imperium, so we've been playing a lot of Twilight Imperium. It's a board game. I believe I talked about it a bit on an earlier podcast episode. But yeah, if you're really into board games, this is probably the best one ever made. It's an absolute blast.
Wow.
That's a high praise.
Yeah. Well, it is. The game is literally what would happen if you took Risk, Settlers of Catan, and StarCraft and put them all into one game. Now, just let that
man.
Let that settle.
let that
You're
settle.
hurting my brain. That's a lot of crap to take care of.
So is this a RTS or?
So you're like managing a lot of resources, doing a lot of trading, trying to take over the map and everything, and yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
Okay.
Lots of also
Jeez.
races to play. Like you can play the space cats who are really good with trading or whatever, and or they got like a virus race that can steal other technologies from other races. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Really expensive game though. It's like $150.
But worth it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially since I wasn't the one that bought it. So.
Reaping the payments of others. Awesome. Well, I think that's going to do it for us this week, folks. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Virtual Boys podcast. Thank you so much again, and again for joining us.
If you like video game music, I encourage you to go check out Skylar's SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/SkyTower with a 5. He produces or writes or whatever you do the music, he does. And it's some pretty great stuff, I have to admit. Every time I listen to it, it really brings up my nostalgia, or it also is just can be really moving at times.
Oh, I'd like to shout out to our patrons, Chris, Chase, and Ratmvp. Your support means a ton. If you want to join them, go to patreon.com/NintenCity. Remember, the episodes go up early as a reward for those that support us.
And I'd like to invite you to join our Discord community. We're trying to set up a fun place for people to visit and hang out. Head to nintendo.city/discord to join us today.
And thank you again for tuning in to the Virtual Boys podcast this week. Don't forget to subscribe and rate us on iTunes and all that fun stuff. We'd also like to remind you to check out our website at nintendcity.com, where you can find news, show notes, and more. This week's show notes will be available at nintend.city/EP86. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye!
See ya.
Goodbye, you good people.